Awesome. That is great. So first, I just want to pop on camera, say hello. I know most people aren't used to seeing new people on the screen, so I just wanted to pop in, say hello. I'm always very impressed with Javier's presentation, how in-depth he can get in such a short period of time. So I do encourage you, if you have any additional questions on finance and operations, please reach out to us, and I will spend the next about 40 minutes showing you Business Central. And again, we've kind of talked a little bit about, how finance and operations is much more of an enterprise if you have, 10 plus locations. But I'm going to get into, Business Central and show you how it does really tailor to the small to medium size businesses. So if you are currently at small to medium size, you're using kind of a hodgepodge of different softwares to meet your needs, or if you're, just rapidly growing, off QuickBooks or any other, financial software, I think Business Central is really a great step, and not only the great next step, it is a software that is truly scalable with your business. So a great first step, but again, as we consult with you and understand your business processes, I know our team at Turnkey will really help you guys ensure that this software will be great for the next 2 years to come, but also the next 15 years to come. So I'm going to turn off my camera to save some bandwidth now and go ahead and start my presentation. All right, so again, I just had my little introduction. Again, thank you, Javier. Again, my name is Ben Lucido. I am a D365 Business Central consultant here at Turnkey Technologies. Here's a little agenda of what I'm going to show you today. Mainly over production, I am going to show you the 3 different types of production capabilities we do have with Business Central. One is assembly, one's discrete, and one's process. I will show you in the demo today discrete, but I'll talk to you through some of the assembly and process manufacturing that we do through this PowerPoint. I'll show you a little bit of demand planning and forecasting. I really do just want to show you this. I don't want to get too much into supply chain, but as everyone on this call probably knows, that supply chain ties directly into your production and how your inventory levels and everything there really ensures that your production is going to complete on time and meet those customer needs that you all are trying to meet. Next, I'll go into analytics and reporting. I'll show you a little bit about Power BI. And talk to you a little bit about Power Automate, just as Javier did as well. So first, I'll start off with going over, assembly versus production. So assembly, first and foremost, it only takes the essential license, so it is the less expensive license, still very, very robust license. And you're going to get most of your needs out of this license, but you're going to be able to assemble the stock, assemble the order, which is right when you put that assembly item number, that parent item number into your sales order. It's going to populate that assembly order automatically. And then you can jump right into that assembly order and start assembling. It's really mainly for kitting. There is not going to be any scrap, so if you guys are very either discrete or process manufacturing, you know that there can be scrap. And if you are very detailed and you have a lot of business coming in, you're also going to need capacity planning. So there's no capacity planning or scrap with the assembly or the essential license. So that is really the big difference between the two. Just wanted to point that out in the beginning. So if you'd ever have that question, hopefully we can address that before. Again, no real WIP reporting. It is expecting you just to put this together and push it out. Pretty simplistic kitting for the assembly side. And on the other side, I have the production license, or the production, which you are going to need the premium license. Again, similar to assembly, you can do production of stock. So if you're just getting ready for the production, you can produce the stock or you can produce the order. Another thing that production does bring in is the machine centers. So what machine centers do is it's going to really allow you to use your flushing methods per work center. So as you set up these work centers, you're going to basically detail out your production process, and you can consume your inventory off of that. So as you have machine centers, your machine centers, if you have machine centers that, hey, we have this machine center that makes this shelf. We also have machine centers that makes this plane. So you can have different machine centers in helping you with your capacity planning as well. So that is kind of how the machine centers work up into those work centers and how you can separate the two and really use them both as tools for capacity planning. So capacity planning is also a huge benefit of production. So you can see how heavy your machines are. You can even schedule maintenance with your machines that will go into capacity planning. Again, I touched on routing a little bit. You're going to use routings with machine centers and work centers and really determine the order that you want them to go in. Again, another huge benefit of production is your work in progress reporting. So I know that a lot of people are going to, hey, we get off at 6 and, sometimes you're going to be halfway through this product. And at the end of the day, it's going to be month end and you're going to need to see how much we have in WIP just to be able to calculate those financials. So always great to have WIP reporting. And again, production is also going to have that scrap percentage. So you're going to be able to automatically calculate that scrap inside of your production orders. So here's what a typical production BOM is going to look like inside of Business Central. As you can see, pretty basic. You are going to be able to have you can choose your unit of measure that you output in, as well as your status. So you can have verified, work in progress, certified. So you're going to have a certified production BOM for you to be able to push that into your production environment. As well as you can see there are version numbers. So you can have as many versions as you want. Really, this is just to show that, hey, maybe we've improved this. And in addition to that, you can have notes. So for each version number, you can add different notes to each version just to really be able to track inside of your ERP what versions, what changes have been made, and so on and so forth. As you can see down here, you are able to put items in here. You're able to put in your quantity per, whatever you measure, and your scrap percentage. So that's pretty standard production BOM, but in addition, pretty similar to finance and operations, you are able to put other production BOMs in here. So if you have that multiple level BOM, you are able to use Business Central to accomplish that. And so next is the routing. I know I touched on a little bit, but I wanted to show you what a routing setup looks like. So here's your routing. It's going to be separated by machine or work centers. And again, this is something you can version and add notes to really specify what each version means. And down below, each operation number is going to be able to specify what is my setup time, what's my run time, how much do I have to wait, is there a loading time, is there a moving time. Again, you can add scrap percentage here and really be able to send product ahead if you know you're going to be able to send some product ahead and you don't really need all of that product inside of this for the first operation. So all those capabilities are built into this routing setup page. And so as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be mainly showing you discrete manufacturing. So I did want to show this slide just to show you that we really do get into detail on process manufacturing as well. We've done a lot of process manufacturing projects, such as paint mixing or food processing. So here is basically just a screenshot of how detailed we can get on a production BOM with your production information. Again, you can add things over here such as allergens and attributes. One thing that Business Central did add recently was attributes, so that does really help you specify and search within the system to be able to assign attributes to specific bill of materials or items, just to have searchability inside of your system be a little quicker. And so similar to F&O, we are able to flush your production consumption in multiple different ways. So you can forward flush an entire order. You could forward flush by operation. So that's what I was touching on a little bit earlier with your routing. So as you kind of route, if you are finished with one operation, you can flush all the material, or hey, if you start this operation, you could flush all that material to be able to identify that it's out of your inventory, so it does not get taken by anyone else throughout the entire system. Again, you can back flush as well, so once you're finished with this, you can back flush by operation or by entire order. So I think it's just really important to have the different flushing methods. I know most people back flush, but the opportunity to forward flush and back flush is there. So here I'm going to get into a little bit of the item card and your replenishment. So as you can see down here, it's really where your replenishment system here can be purchased, it can be lot per lot, it can be assemble. So what we would do here is, we would do something as production or assembly. If you chose production, there would be the options for production to order, production to stock here as well. You can see that you have the options of assemble to stock and assemble to order. So you do need to, every time your salesperson adds that parent item to your sales order, it's going to add that assembly order to your assembly order page, and you can plan for that. So next is the reorder policy that I wanted to touch on a little bit. As you can see, there's a lot of different ways you can reorder. You can fill in your lead time. You can fill in your reorder point. You can fill in your max inventory. You can fill in all these quantities. And you'll see when I bring up the planning worksheet later in here, all this is filled out for those items that are going to populate. So within this, I filled out the reorder point, the reorder quantity. So when it gets below that reorder point and we have a production order coming down the pipeline, I'm going to show you in this planning worksheet that you're going to be able to just hit calculate plan, and it's going to be able to put all of these items that you need, the correct quantities as you specify inside of their item card, and it's actually going to also pick the vendor. So you're going to easily be able to push purchase orders out, schedule production orders, and things of that nature. So another thing that I wanted to touch on in this PowerPoint is your demand forecast. So if you know you have a demand forecast, I think this is really great, and I see a lot of companies using this if they have busy seasons. So if you don't have these orders inside, but you expect this demand forecast to, what this demand forecast is based off, your analytics from the last couple of years. This is where your planner can come in here and put those demand forecasts in there, and that can help you calculate using this planning worksheet. You'll see once I bring up this planning worksheet, you'll be able to integrate whether you want to use this demand forecast or not, or if you just want to use the current sales orders or current production orders in the system. So I'm going to touch a little bit on reporting applications here in Business Central. There are embedded Power BI, there's financial schedules, and there's a lot of extensions for visual production scheduling. So a lot of the things that Javier showed you, they may not be out of the box. This is the less expensive version of the ERP and the Microsoft suite, but I have worked with many customers that use Gantt charts for scheduling and use many other ISVs to really round out this solution. And so a couple of those extensive ISVs that I've seen used are such as e-commerce or certain, exactly as I said, Gantt charting capabilities, some detailed production added capabilities. So if I show you something today, or if I don't show you something today and you have a question on if it's possible, I do help our pre-sales discovery a lot with solutioning. So I do really understand, all the ISVs we worked with, all the processes that they handle, and how they can really seamlessly integrate into Business Central. Because for instance, we're doing this large job right now for the printing industry. So The printing industry isn't necessarily meant for Business Central, but we have this great ISV that is built right on top of Business Central. It looks like you're in Business Central the entire time, and we're using the capabilities of both Business Central and of this detailed process work centers that printers use. So here's a quick glimpse of some of the reporting. This is the home page. I'll get a little bit more into the home page once I open up the demo. But here's what it's going to look like. As you can see, here's some cash flow and here's some financial reportings, as well as here's your Power BI reports. And if any of you use Power BI reports, you know that they are very flexible. They can pull in many different reports, make them look great. Great reports for executives, great reports for any manager in any part of the business to really have that quick insight and break down capabilities into different reports. So another great thing about Business Central, and this kind of scales beyond production. This scales for your sales team, your finance team, any managers, if you need to improve workflows. This expands, and you can run your business really anywhere you want. So that's the great thing about being in the cloud. I don't know if I'm talking to anyone who is currently on some older platforms such as AX or GP or things of that nature, but I think moving to the cloud is really the way to go. It's the future of ERPs. It allows you to tie in from anywhere you are. I think this slide was really important for me to show today because I'm sure a lot of people here are working from home and can definitely see the use of working anywhere and be able to approve or start things from anywhere where you are. And as always, some people do have worries about that, so you can set security limits on this as well. So if you don't want people to, be able to post outside of your VPN, those are also capabilities that you can set within Business Central. Another slide I wanted to show you is this mobile flow production. So a lot of the times we'll see, hey, if you don't want a whole desktop and computer sitting on your production floor, maybe you just want a tablet. So this kind of really builds off my next one. So run anywhere could be from at home, or it could be right on the production floor using a tablet that's much smaller space to use up and to really just be as most efficient with your space as possible. So questions are going to be at the end of this, but now I'm going to jump right into Business Central. So Zach, could you confirm that you see my Business Central, please?
Yep, I can see it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that, Zach. So here is the home page for Business Central. I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I do want to show you a lot of the great capabilities of this system just right from the home page. So currently I'm in the business manager setting or role, I should say, and that is going to show you these really quick analytics. So these analytics are customizable. I can set up these queues. I can decide what activities and analytics I show. It's very easy to set up the range that I do want to show. So if your sales this month are 10 million, great. Let's set that to that's your favorable. If your sales this month are 200,000, also great. Hey, we can change that. We can change the system to be what you need for your business. As well as favorable, we can also do ambiguous, and we can also do unfavorable. So another great thing is, hey, if I see more here, it's really drill downable. I know there aren't many sales orders in here, but these are the sales orders for this month. So if you have a lot, you can always see, hey, here's the sales orders that are currently sitting here for this month. Let's try to follow up on them and get them pushed across the finish line. Again, with a quick look into your financials here. Another part that I really like to show are these tiles. So you can see all these tiles, again, customizable. You can change what tiles are here, as well as these are very drill downable. So here's all the sales orders currently. Here's where you can dive in. Another one I really like to show is sales quotes. If you're using sales quotes, great. your sales quotes. Let's follow up on those and get those pushed across the finish line. So that's your business manager. You're going to be much more high-level focused around sales and the financial health of your organization. So this is easy to change, and so it is very customizable per person. So you can always customize those, change those titles, change those activities. One thing I do want to show you is how we can change here. If I wanted to go into Inventory Manager down here, I'm going to click OK, and this is going to show me. I'm going to quickly refresh. And as you can see, there's only a very small amount of reports here before. Again, you can always add reports, but each level of role that you have are going to have these actions that change. And again, you can add and take away these if you don't need them. But I just really like how Business Central understands that each role is going to have these different actions or different reports they're going to want to see and be able to drill down very quickly. So again, these tiles are going to change and everything associated with that. So I'm going to go back into my business role just to ensure I have all the correct capabilities here. But I did want to just show you that high-level overview of that home page. Okay, so now I'm going to go into sales orders. And so what I've set up here is a production to order item. I've actually already put this sales order in here so you don't have to sit with me and watch me mistakenly type in the customer name. But it is easily searchable here if you want to, and it's going to populate everything as needed. So here is the production to order that I do have in here. So it's the hanging banner case that I have set up in the item card. It is production to order. And as you can see, it is going to be very easy. Not only can you add production orders in here, you can add other non-production orders, you can add assembly orders. The combination is really endless inside of sales orders. So here I am going to go to, so you can do a couple things. There's a couple ways to go. If you do just want to use this, it's more of a manual way. You can come here and plan. I'm not going to do this because I do want to show you the more automatic and the streamlined business process that I like to show, because it really just shows the system and how smart and intuitive it is. But you could go here and change this to a production order. What I do want to show you is in my planning worksheet. And here's also something I do want to point out is here's your global search, which is something that I use on a daily basis. So you can search, obviously I search planning worksheet, but if I search production, and it's going to show you all the pages, it's also going to show you all these reports. So the global search is one of my favorite searches, and it will just build on top of this sales order. So I'm going to go back to that planning worksheet. So I'm going to go to this planning worksheet here. And so what I did before, I went here and I went to prepare and I went to calculate regenerative plan. So when I calculated this regenerative plan, you can do a couple things. You can have your MPS. So if you want your production schedule to come in here. So since I set up that sales order item, which was the banner case, since I set that up as a production to order, and as I click MPS, it's going to take that into credit, and it's going to add that to this planning worksheet. Same with MRP. It's going to add your purchase orders, your assembly orders. That is basically everything but your production. And as you can see here, I mentioned and I showed you a little bit of the forecast on that PowerPoint. But so I can choose which forecast I use. So if you have a monthly or a weekly, or you can name them busy seasons. Hey, if this is the winter season or if this is the summer season, you can always separate your forecast and incorporate them the same way. So here I'm going to hit OK. It is most likely not going to add anything new. That is because I already ran this before I hopped on with you guys. So here in my item, so this is the item I added to the sales order. As you can see, it's marked an MPS. So that is telling you that it is a production order. If I scroll over here, it is going to tell me, if it's a purchase, a production order, how I want it to show up, planned. And so I do want to mention, as I didn't show you the production BOM for this specific item, these 3 items right here, 1028, 1029, 103 are all part of the production BOM. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and hit accept action message for all of these. So after I hit accept that action message, you can either select all, you can select only the ones you want. As you can see here, I just selected the ones I wanted to choose for this specific demo. But here I'm going to hit carry out action message. And so it's going to ask you, hey, this is a purchase order. Let me know what you want to do. Do you want to make a purchase order? Do you want to just copy to a requisition worksheet, which is another worksheet where it incorporates planning, and or I can do firmed, I can do planned firm. So there are a couple differences. Planned is just, it's going to hit your capacity planning for your machine centers and work centers, but it is not going to populate on top of it's not going to overwrite anything that's currently there. It's just going to show up on your capacity plan. Firm plan is what I'm going to do now, and that is going to be a firm plan production order. So as your production managers or production control managers come in here and they look for firm plan to see kind of what they need to work on next, you will see that this will pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and what this is going to do is going to create this production order as well as the purchase orders. So I kind of want to do backstep. I forgot to show you this. I really do enjoy this function. As you're in the sales order, this can be for anyone. Hey, you're on the phone with a customer and you want to see line availability by your production order. So it's a production order. So here you can see it's gonna lay out exactly the quantity per parent, the available quantity, and the able to make. So over here, it's just a really quick insight on, hey, do I have enough to make for this customer? So now I'm going to go into purchase orders and push these purchase orders across. So as you can see, I'm jumping around a lot, but a lot of this is going to be a lot of different people throughout the system. So for instance, in your planning worksheets, probably going to be your planner. For your purchase orders that I'm going to show you, it's probably going to be your buyer. So you can see that all of these, as I jump from screen to screen, this is going to be a much longer drawn out process, but it is going to flow from, employee to employee in their respective design areas. Or, hey, if you want one person to do this, if you're a small enough company, clearly I'm showing you how to do this. It is very possible for that as well. So here's that production order that my planning worksheet made for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just use Shootout 123 ABC for my vendor invoice number, and I'm going to go ahead and post this. So inside of my item card for 1029, I have the reorder quantity as 1100. So it automatically populated it. It automatically populated all of these things that I have populated inside of the item card. So what I'm going to do here is just post this. I'm going to receive an invoice. Again, this capability is separate. You could just receive it and then have your accounting invoice it. For the sake of this, I'm going to receive an invoice all at once. I'm going to say no. What this is asking me, if I want to see the purchase invoice for the sake of this demo, I'm going to say no. So that is received into inventory. This next one, as you can see, I really wanted to show you this capability as well. As you choose which vendors are for specific item numbers, you can have backup vendors, but since these two with the planning worksheet have the same vendor, they're going to populate on the same purchase order. So every single item is not going to populate on separate purchase orders. unless they are all separate vendors. So it is going to separate them. It is intelligent and intuitive enough to separate these. So again, I'll do Shootout, and I'll do 456 ABC here. And again, I'm just going to post this real quick. Receive an invoice and say no. All right, so what that did is ensure that I had the correct and enough quantity to really do this in, to do the production order. So now I'm going to go to, so on my planning worksheet, I went to plan production order. So here's your plan production order, firm plan production order, sorry, is what I went to go to. So here is that firm plan production order that I just created a second ago from that planning worksheet. So as you can see, it created it for me, and I'm going to go ahead and sign here really quick. And I am going to show you this. I'm not going to show you this report right now, but again, as Javier mentioned, we can have some subcontractors built into the bill of material. You can look at your dispatch list for your subcontractors right within here. So really right here is what I want to do is all I really need to do is, this is for your production control manager to come in here and see, they'll probably spend a lot of time in this page, sorting by starting date time and ending date time or due date, whatever they think is most important to sort by. And again, I did not show this to you yet, but I do want to show you how you can add fields here. So maybe finish date or location code. So if you have multiple locations, you can separate it by location codes. If they're only working out of location code, we could pull this right into here and it'll pop up right there and your location code will show up. And you could even just click on this, filter, and if I wanted to filter by location code, I could. Since we're not really specifying location codes inside of this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and move forward. But I do want to show you the capabilities of filtering these production orders for your production control manager to do. So I'm going to go back into this firm plan production order, not quite on the production floor yet. So what we need to do here is we need to change the status. And so I'm going to automatically, it chooses the next step, which is released, and I'm going to hit yes. So perfect. It is telling me right here that I am taking that firm plan production order and changing it to a release production order. So backed out of here, that was more of your production control manager. And next, we're going to go into what your production manager is probably going to be looking at. So, hey, they're going to pull this up. Again, they can sort by routing numbers. They can sort by multitude of things. So, hey, if you know certain routings, only these production managers work on, you can always filter on that. So if they're not looking at 1,000 production orders, they're only looking at the 100 that they have on their plate. So I'm going to go ahead and look into this. And again, I do want to show you back here. I do want to show you some of the reporting functionalities out of here. So here's production order routing and order comp and routing. So let's preview this and see what this order looks like. So this is a really great overview shot of what your production manager can see. So hey, let's see where which machine needs to start and what time they need to start, what date they need to start, and when they need to end. So this is really just a great report. You can pull this for all production orders. Obviously here I just pulled it for this production order, but it is a really great insight. I think it's great if your production manager wanted to come in to every morning and print this out. It really gives them a great look at exactly what needs to be done today, what needs to be started, what should be finishing. And a lot of people, from my experience working on production floors, they'll have that first meeting in the morning saying, hey, this is what we need to work on. So take that take this and either throw it up on a flat screen and say, hey guys, this is what we need to hit. This is what we need to finish for the day. So I think this is a great report to use for your production managers. Another one I'm going to show you is your material requisition. Again, this is just going to be for this order number, but if I took this away, it would show me all of my production orders. And so this is just a quick material requisition. As you can see, it is telling me exactly how many I need to pick, if there is any scrap percentage, and what I need to pick this by. And if I did specify code, a location code, you can do that as well. And I am also going to show you this order list. So this is your order list. It is going to tell you what's released, what's finished. You can, again, filter this down just to release, just to get rid of all these finished, but I kind of wanted to put a little more meat on this report. But as you can see up here, this is just a quick list of your production orders that you have done or are released. And it tells you your starting date and your end date and your due date and what the quantity is. So again, another just quick report that you can look at in the morning to really understand, what the capacity is for the day. Another one I'm going to show you is production order statistics. And I know Javier showed you something very similar to this. His was much more colorful and pretty, which I know we can use this report to put into Power BI, but that that is a little extra work. So this is out of the box, and this is your production order statistics. Again, it's going to go into each production order, what the material cost is, what the capacity cost was, capacity overhead, material overhead, and your total cost. So it's going to show you your expected, your actual, and your deviation. So this is really a good, exactly as Javier said it, you don't only want to know that you can get these products out, but you want to make sure that you're getting them out at a cost advantage to you and your company. So again, if you look at this and you're seeing a lot of negatives on this deviation report, exactly as Javier said, hey, let's look at, hey, does this machine need maintenance? Is this, need a new needle, need a new, water blaster for this cutter or whatever it may be? Do we need to train the employee better? So again, can help you have a quick visualization in how each production order is working. So here I'm going to go back in its production order, and I'm going to go to warehouse. So here's your production order. It's released. I'm going to go ahead and create a warehouse pick. I'm going to assign this to myself, Mr. Lucido, and I'm going to sort by item. So what I'm going to do here, so it's telling me this warehouse pick 14 has been created. So since I assigned it to myself, I can go right in here and go up to warehouse picks. Again, this is probably something that, you have an inventory crib or an inventory manager, and they're going to be looking at this at all times, and they're going to be able to see what warehouse picks this goes to. And so as you can see here, you can print this out. You can just look here. Again, as this is, very mobile, you're able to, get a device license, which is a lower cost to your whole essential license. Use that device license to your advantage where you can post to it. So you could have this, your Android tablet, your Apple tablet, whatever, choice you may have that can download Business Central, which are both Android and iOS devices, and walk around with this. And as you pick, you can either pick each line, or what I'm going to do for the sake of time, I'm just going to go up here and register all of the picks. I'm going to register this entire pick document. So I'm going to say, great, that's going to populate off my warehouse picks. So now I have no more warehouse picks to go through. Also, I wanted to print this for you and show you what the job card looks like. So here's your job card for this. It is going to be separated by machine centers. So as this loads, you're going to see that this is the first machine center. If I had positions, or if each item went into a different position, all of this would be populated. Then you could easily print this out and fill this out and push this through your production process. But as you can see, this is prep 1, which is my first machine center. And as I scroll down, here is my operation number 2, my assembly. And again, my last operation is to pack it up for this production order. So this is what your job card is going to look like. This is right out of the box. We work with a lot of different customers who want this to look very specific. So if you do want this to look specific, do not have a worry. This report is very customizable, and we can make it to your liking. So that is what your job card is going to look like. So last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and change the status to finished. It is going to give me this error because some consumption is still missing, and what that means is the end date is going to be after what today's date is, so it is not going to be finished consuming all the material. But I'm going to say go ahead and finish this and add this to my quantity. And so that is what your production order is going to look like. And in order to go back, we're going to go back into my sales order that I created earlier. And now I should have the proper quantity. So I can see my reserve quantity is 15, and I should be able to go ahead and post this. So hopefully this works. So yep, so before if I tried to post this without a finished production order, it would not be able to post because I did not have that inventory in stock. But as I finished that production order and finished it, it put that 15 into stock, and I was able to post this. And I meant to slow down on that a little bit, but it did have two separate. You could either ship or invoice. Again, you could do both at the same time, which is what I did. And easily this one, for the sake of just finishing this off strong, you can also bring it right to your invoice and print this and send to your customer if you are in sales. So that is all I have today for this quick shootout. Thank you again for everyone's participation and viewing. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our sales team or our info team to help you get those questions answered. Thanks again, and everyone have a great rest of your day.